I would like to, as they say in the Senate, revise and extend my remarks. On Monday, I asked you to consider how stupid the new Florida law is that repeals Disney's special tax status in the state. I would now like to revise and extend those remarks to make the point that it is much, much stupider than I thought. By Monday, we realized that the repeal of Disney's special tax and operating status in Florida meant that the tax bill for public services provided in and around Disney properties was going to fall on the two counties in Florida that surround Disney World. That meant that a $163 million burden was suddenly going to be shifted from Disney and land on two neighboring counties where the tax collector in one county estimated that property taxes would have to be raised by 25%. It is becoming clear tonight that that will probably never happen because the new, profoundly stupid law will never go into effect because pre-existing Florida law makes it impossible for Florida to repeal Disney's special status until all of the bond debt of Disney's Reedy Creek Improvement District has been paid off. And the earliest that could possibly happen is 2029. The vindictive law passed by the Republican Florida legislature and signed by Florida's Republican governor, who wants to be president, was passed for no reason other than the publicly admitted fact that the governor does not believe that anyone working at Disney should be allowed to publicly object to anything the Florida government does, including the new law championed by the governor, which prohibits any discussion of human sexuality by public school teachers through grade 3. The repeal of the existence of the Reedy Creek Improvement District, which is the entity that Disney runs in order to administer its properties in Florida, will not take place for another year. That's the way the law is written. It doesn't take effect for another year. In that year, Florida's governor is now hoping that everyone forgets about this profoundly stupid law because the Florida legislature will surely at some point be forced to quietly repeal it, if that can be done quietly. And that's not just because it would dramatically increase property taxes around Disney World. It is because the law illegally violates a contractual promise made by the state of Florida in establishing the Reedy Creek Improvement District in 1967 when Disney began building Disney World. In authorizing Reedy Creek to issue bonds in 1967, the Florida law says the state of Florida pledges to the holders of any bonds issued by the district that it will not limit or alter the rights of the district until all such bonds, together with interest thereon, are fully met and discharged. Reedy Creek currently has $1 billion in bond debt. That $1 billion in bond debt would also become the burden of the neighboring counties if the anti-Disney law went into effect. But the law is unconstitutional, both in the state of Florida and in the United States. Florida's Constitution and the United States Constitution do not allow governments to enter into contracts that they then simply revoke by passing a new law. Florida Attorney Jacob Schumer writes, Florida simply cannot promise to prospective bondholders that it won't interfere with Reedy Creek and then dissolve Reedy Creek. So, dissolving Reedy Creek is not just a $163 million tax problem for the neighboring counties. It is also a $1 billion bond debt problem for the neighboring counties. And the man who signed his name to the symbolic and vindictive law repealing the existence of Reedy Creek did not know that when he signed it. He signed, in effect, the biggest tax increase ever visited upon any state without knowing that that's what he was doing. Governing does not get stupider than that. And everyone working for Republican Governor Ron DeSantis and every Republican working in the state legislature who supported this bill and their staffs are all $1 billion stupider than I thought they were when this week began. Jeff Brandes is a Republican state senator from St. Petersburg who opposed this legislative attack on Disney. He said this was shock and awe from the governor. Now it's time for the governor to be shocked and awed by his $1,163 million tax increase on Florida taxpayers. He will always have it on his record that he wrote such a profoundly stupid tax law, signed it into law. But the buffoons in the Florida legislature will, at some point next year, have to repeal it. The rank stupidity of it all, by all of them, should never be forgotten.